Okay, we're going to look at placing the topic sentence or statement at the end of the paragraph. You do this by putting all of your details first and then putting the topic statement at the end, or you put all of your proofs first if you're making an argument, and then you place your proposition at the end. So when do you do this? You do this if the thought isn't likely to be favorably received by the reader or the listener. So if you have something like that and you state it abruptly at the beginning, no one's going to read the rest of your paragraph. You also do it if there's an unwelcome truth or if you're lying, and there's kind of a fine line between the two. And finally, if you're introducing a new idea that's not going to be assented to, that your reader isn't going to be prepared to assent to, you put your supporting statements first and then your topic sentence at the end. Here's an example of the government restating its position on the Native Americans, the Sioux Indians, after the tragedy at Wounded Knee. To give a little background, Wounded Knee occurred when the 7th Regiment of the United States Army in about 1890 moved the Indians from one location to another. It was a relocation. And these were armed Indians, and unbeknownst to the Indians, the plan was to disarm them. When the rest of the regiment showed up, they surrounded the Sioux at Wounded Knee, and when a deaf man was told to give up his rifle, he said he didn't want to because he really loved it. And then the military opened fire, killing some 300 or so, depending on whose account you read, Sioux Indians, men, women, and children. And when some ran, they followed them and shot them down. They were not armed. So in this piece that was in the New York Press, it's kind of turning things around and calling the Sioux killers, and as we'll see, it's one of those things that you wouldn't assent to immediately. So it goes, we have new evidence of the treacherous character of the Sioux Indians in the tragedy at Wounded Knee Creek. When their surroundings are considered, their treachery is not a subject for wonder. The Sioux lad is taught that duplicity, lying, treachery, theft, and bloodshed are the manly attributes. He must be very wily about shedding blood, but is nothing but a squaw until he has a scalp at his belt. And recall, it was a European that began scalping the Indians and others to prove that somebody they had a hit out on was dead. Then he is fed by the government, clothed by the government, sheltered by the government, that is, maintained in absolute idleness while he broods over real or fancied wrongs. Well, the Sioux were feeding themselves, clothing themselves, and sheltering themselves before the government slaughtered most of them and took away their land and put them on reservations. When he gets worked up to the proper pitch of frenzy, which is what the military did, he wants to kill somebody and generally does kill somebody if he's not killed himself. So they're attacked and they're accused of being killers. And if they defend themselves, they're accused of being killers. It has been government policy to treat the Indian as a spoiled child rather than as a dangerous brute that he is. So the conclusion, the topic statement here is, the events of the present Indian outbreak have made it clear that the policy of gentleness is disastrous both to the country and to the Indian. And this was in the New York Press. So this is our first example of placing the topic statement at the end.